if you identify as whatever you want to, let's say as gay, transsexual, I respect that. I have friends that are gay and all of that, I respect that. But I also have my own point of view, Yeah.
So you think you're only two sexes?
I believe there's a man and a female. Yeah, there is a possibility of, a gay, lesbian, transsexual, and all of that. But at the end of the day, when you're born, there's only a female and a male.
So if you could tell, I guess, the men anything, what would you tell them?
Be gentle, be kind, not just to us females, but to the world and yourself as well. Don't let society push you into doing things you don't want to. Be true to yourself. The second you become true to yourself, you'll be able to be anyone you want to be and treat everyone else with respect as well.
Thanks.
My love, she keeps me warm.
This one might be a little controversial, but who are you voting for president?
I don't believe in elections. I feel like is there a way of giving us false hope that we can make a change, when in reality they already know who's going to win, who's going to be in power for the next 4 years. So it just by giving us the idea of voting, they're just giving us false hopes. But as I said the other day, they know who's winning.
Is freedom possible?
In today's society and in the U.S., no. We have very limited freedom. They make us believe that we have freedom, but the second you're too free and you speak too much, that's an issue.
Okay. And then, what do you think about New York right now in terms of like the politics and things like that?
What you mean?
Like, do you think it's being run correctly?
What being run correctly?
New York.
You mean like living conditions?
Yeah.
I think New York is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. However, I feel like people have this image of New York, how like it's very glamorous and that it's the perfect place to be, but in reality it's not. Like you have people here struggling. For example, myself, I have 3 jobs, and even then I feel like I'm not where I want to be yet. So I just say go for it, do whatever makes you happy, but keep in mind that everything you see on TV and on social media is not a reality. Like we go through stuff here, we struggle.
Yeah. Do you miss your home?
I do miss Dominican Republic. I do. However, I feel like here I have opportunity that I don't have back home. So the main reason why I'm here.
In an ideal world, would you have stayed in the Dominican Republic?
Yes, 100%. I feel the living conditions over there are way better than here.
Yeah. What do you mean by that?
For example, when it comes to food, everything is natural, everything is organic. You don't have the government poisoning you little by little without you knowing.
So you think the American government is poisoning you?
I do.
You do?
I do. Because why McDonald's is cheaper than organic food? That to me makes no sense. You go to Wendy's with $5 and you can buy a burger, a small fry. Meanwhile, you go to the grocery store with $5. I think all you can buy is probably lettuce, and that's about it.
Yeah. When you go to the grocery store, what do you eat?
I like to eat as clean as possible, so I like a lot of vegetables as well as chicken. But I stay away from meat. I prefer more vegetables.
Cool. Is there anything you want to ask me?
No, not at all. You have been very straightforward. Your questions, I love it.
All right, let me. I have a couple more.
My love, she keeps me warm.
Oh, if I could take a page out of your diary, what would it say, Reggie?
If you could take a what?
A page out of your diary.
What I would say, I feel that whatever it says there might get me in trouble.
But you've been so candid already. Like, come on.
I don't know. I feel like I have a very, how do I say this? I have a very open mind, and like I'm very aware of my surrounding. So I get that if you were to take a picture of my diary, it will give you a glimpse of my mind and what I truly think about society nowadays and people around me.
Okay, thank you. And then, let me see.
Go.
Is it possible for members of marginalized communities to like truly be free or find freedom in America?
What you mean?
Like, is it possible for like, let's say Latino people or Black people to find freedom in America?
as I said previously, we have freedom to a certain extent. There's no such thing as, freedom 100%, at least not here in the US.
Yeah.
But once you truly try to be as free as you want, that's an issue.
Oh, here it is.
You have to remember, we live inside of a matrix.
Yeah.
Certain things we have to follow, certain rules we have to do. Otherwise,
Yeah. What does revolution look like?
Revolution to me will be the second people wake up and realize that we are living inside of a matrix and that we are pretty much sleeping and following rules around. The second, we wake up and realize everything around us, that will be a true resolution for me.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for what I said about there's only two genders.
Disclaimer: the views, opinions, and statements expressed by guests on this talk show are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or positions of The Bjorn Pink Show or its hosts. The content provided is for informational and educational purposes only. We are not responsible for any actions taken based on the information discussed in the show. Listener discretion is advised.
Please consider volunteering or sending a donation to GLAAD. As a dynamic media force, GLAAD ensures fair, accurate, and inclusive representation that rewrites the script for LGBTQ acceptance. GLAAD tackles tough issues to shape the narrative and provoke dialogue that leads to cultural change. GLAAD protects all that has been accomplished and envisions a world with 100% LGBTQ acceptance. Gender identities: gender fluid. A person whose gender can shift between any combination of genders.
Genderqueer, a person who doesn't identify as any gender, including male, female, non-binary, or transgender.
Bigender, a person who experiences two different genders at the same time.
Agender, a person who doesn't identify as either a man or a woman, or both.
Transgender, an umbrella term for people whose gender identity differs from the sex they were assigned at birth.